first thing I will ask, for those who are not familiar, why payments in the Baltics is even a topic, because in many jurisdictions, or in the majority of the jurisdictions, that's the question, like what payment methods are allowed, and that's it. So that is we have to start off this panel, from the actual subject. Why is that such a big thing, the payments in the Baltics? That's one thing, and the other thing is that, as Alton told, yesterday we had a conference here, which was predominantly directed towards fintech. So we covered all these questions, but as far as nobody was there yesterday, so we will, covering more or less some of the key, same subjects, but then we will turn to the gambling side, because we didn't touch gambling yesterday, because nobody wants that the gambling would be touched in the other industries. So, okay, so really nice to see you. Paula, we know each other. It's the first time with Liutauras, so it's very nice to see you. I will now turn to you, Liutauras, to start with, why is payments in the Baltic that big? Why it's the subject, why it's the topic?
Yeah, thank you for having me here. First of all, I'm Liutauras, representing Sorainen Law Office, one of the largest law firms in the Baltics. And I work with regulatory payments and fintech matters mostly. So the question is very good, actually. And from my point of view, payments is one of the core kind of elements allowing such businesses related to gambling, gaming to run at all. It's very different. It's on a different matter and subject. First of all, this has its own separate framework, regulatory requirements, system, and all. And yeah, it's I would say it's allowing such businesses as gambling to run in the first place.
Paula, can you elaborate more? Continue from where Liutauras closed, and maybe some introduction into the general framework of Lithuania and the whole region. But I suppose Lithuania would be the good option to even stay with in terms of the fintech industry and the growth and the extent of that.
Yes, okay, so hi everyone, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yeah, in the introduction, sorry.
That's okay, I can continue. So I'm Paula, I'm here because of the ConnectPay, the company I represent. ConnectPay is one of the largest EMIs we have in Lithuania. Why it's related to gaming and gambling? Mostly because we are actually servicing those industries for quite a time now. We are well known for that. We were actually established because there was a need to create finally an industry for that. Andres is smiling because he knows that too.
Someone's smiling as well, so.
Yeah, so the thing is mainly why Lithuania is so important in terms of payments and gaming gambling. I will tell you that. I think that's because we are the hub and we have a huge talent pool working with those industries. So for me personally, I can see that every day from the clients I meet that they tend to choose our company because we know, and they tend to choose Lithuania and other EMIs because they are very well educated in the field.
So from what I hear from you both, so in terms of in the gambling terms, Lithuanian payments is more or less the same as Malta in gambling. So it's a hub. It's already one of the key players in I wanted to say Europe, but I think in the whole world.
It's true.
Yeah. So and it's still going the same route, adding upon the success story that it was from 2016 to now, and they're currently maybe Liutauras, you can speak about that a bit as well, because there's the new guidelines will come for the industry, for the whole payments industry, published I think in 2 months, as far as I understand. So Liutauras, can you please give a bit of an overview of the landscape of the Lithuanian sector, the fintech and the payment sector, not going to crowdfunding or not even going to crypto, only staying within the framework of payments.
Yeah, so just to add that Lithuania is, I guess, the largest market in Europe at all after the Brexit. So currently we have approximately 150 electronic money institutions and payment institutions operating in the payments field. And talking about specifically what specific institutions serve gambling, gaming, I'm not sure. There are of course certain amount of such institutions. But in general, speaking about the regime of fintech and payments in Baltics, I would say and would add to your already message that Lithuania is very advanced here, and this is due to the some political views and development during the years. This started already more than 5 years ago, and our regulator, the Bank of Lithuania, is very advanced. He kind of issued a lot of licenses, as mentioned, and the people working there saw a lot of business plans of various different institutions. So they also understand the market, understand the business needs, which is a big advantage, But in terms of kind of speedy licensing as well as easily obtaining the license, I would say that it's not the same as it was before, let's say 5 years ago, because the regulation.
2 years ago, most probably.
Yeah, indeed. Because we see a trend that, let's say, each half a year, everything goes a bit more stricter and stricter. The regulator asks for new requirements, new kind of safeguards, some new practices to be introduced. Even when comparing traditional businesses, traditional payment businesses, let's say regular accounts or payments that are not related with gambling or gaming, which are considered as a higher risk. It's even when you license such a traditional, let's say, business, it's become difficult because the regulator wants to understand, what such businesses will bring new to the market, new to the consumer, how it is better than already operating players, because we have like 150 of them. So shortly, I would say that this is kind of a brief overview of our financial regulatory sector, and it's getting harder and tougher to prove that you are eligible, that you are a strong player, and to be here in Lithuania, which is
I think that's a sign of maturity. That's a sign of maturity.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so Paula, you're representing ConnectPay. ConnectPay is, even apart from gambling, it's one of the key players in the fintech arena here in Lithuania. You won multiple awards and stuff like that. So, but if turning to the gambling side, so you're the actual leader in Lithuania in terms of because you have let's say a decent risk appetite, so to speak. Okay, so turning to the gambling side, there's a for those who are currently in Lithuania, you know that there's a blacklist in Lithuania for the unlicensed operators, which is called the list of illegal gambling operators. It's a part of I had a brief discussion with the audience about that. It's a part of even acts as a responsible gambling tool as well. But what is interesting to know that in Lithuania it's a two-part blacklist. It's a domain blacklist and a payments blocking blacklist, which is in many jurisdictions that's done in a similar way, but in Lithuania it it hurts more because of the many fintech companies and the many PSPs, MEs established and regulated in Lithuania. So that's why it really hurts. So, but you know, Paula, you work in the industry, so you know that it's not that straightforward that it could be, you know, from the very start, because from the very start it was like, you know, you block everyone that's in the list. Now it's somehow becoming other way around. So could you please wrap it?
Can people hear me with no mic? Or should I? It's okay? Okay, thank you.
It's recording.
Oh, okay, I'll try to do it with the mic. Thank you, Litas. Okay, so I'll tell you that what happened with the list and how did we change and how our perception towards the list changed. So first of all, what happened with the authority, they obviously decided to do the job that's very needed here. They need to protect Lithuanian players, and we are more than thankful for the great job that they do. Lithuanian Gambling Authority not only do a thorough, you know, research, they also keep us informed very swiftly as soon as any kind of investigation, you know, is finished. So again, we are happy to have this good relationship where we get informed and where we know that certain steps need to be done. But as you understood, very correctly noticed, we do see those cases on case-by-case basis, meaning that, you know, not all of the situations are the same. Not all of the attempts for the, let's say, operators are the same. Some of them do actively target Lithuanian players, which is obviously illegal, because if you do not have a Lithuanian license, you cannot do any kind of activity, right? You cannot go and reach out to the possible players and by this operate in this market. But on some instances, the situations are different. So after we receive, you know, the notes from the...
I think the audience really can hear, so you can...
Thank you. It's always a problem for me with the mics. So after we receive the note from the authority itself, we do conduct our own research too. So we do consult, we do have a huge compliance department in-house. For those of you that don't know, you know, Connect Bay, that is again known for the huge involvement in gaming gambling industry. Half of our employees are actually from compliance side, which means that we do have, you know, so many professionals that are experienced in the field. They do their own research, you know, they do also discuss with legal, with, you know, our legal partners from outside of Connect Bay, with our inside legal departments, and then we do decide what we're going to do. Obviously, we do have dialogue with operator. And I think that's also very important, because we as, you know, payment provider, we do look to our operators as to our partners rather than to our clients. This is how we created the relationship. This is how we became that big, because of the relationship we have. So we always talk to them too, because they are also a party that's being involved. And I think it's important to hear their side and to see the means that they are putting in place to prevent, you know, that target.
Yeah, well, how I see it, you know, from what you're talking and from, you know, how I see, you know, the structure of your company is that you're a perfect example of, you know, the ME or PSP who has, you know, let's say 2 compliance for the low risk or low mid risk business side and 10 compliance offices for gambling only. So, you know, because that's how it is. Liutauras, from your perspective, from your, let's say, practice, how you see that? You know, do you see many of these kind of, you know, matters coming in and out, you know, having issues? We discussed a bit earlier, so I will not take, you know, go into detail. You can cover that. You know, how that, you know, image of, you know, the Lithuanian blocking measures went through, you know, the foreign market actors.
So for the, let's say, potential financial market players who come to us and says that, look, we want to be kind of serving gaming gambling companies to be involved in higher risk business, we usually immediately kind of say that this will be a challenge, you know, to go through with the Bank of Lithuania to obtain such a license, because as mentioned, it's a high risk, and it's indeed very hard to kind of get the trust from the regulator that you will be capable of, you know, evading potential risks, let's say, related to money laundering. And the regulator by default asks to kind of, if your business is related to serving such higher risk industries, then you must introduce certain safeguards, such as Paula said. Compliance team should be in place. Everything. You should conduct kind of enhanced due diligence for such clients. Very carefully, kind of monitor all operations, all transactions. So it's I would say it's really challenging to gain that trust and belief from the regulator.
Okay, so thanks a lot. I was shown 4 minutes. So, Paula, in terms of the products, what do you do? What will you do next, and stuff like that? In terms of the payments and gambling.
Okay, since we have very little time, I'll try to be very brief. What do? We go to our customers and ask what do we need. So this is always the approach we have. So in terms of gaming and gambling, we went and did that. We got the response. We need to quickly collect payments and be able to do the payouts. We do have that. We do have payment initiation service. We needed to have that possibility not only with banking payments but with cards too. We did that. We have card acquiring. So what's next? They are going to tell us. If they'll see the need for another product, we will create. But this is how we do stuff.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you very much. The audience. Any questions in relation to the payments in the Baltics? I think we're in time.
Good.
Yeah, thank you very much.